So, with Kevin Feige coming out on Thursday during the Disney Investors presentation and making the announcements of what we're in store for with the MCU in the next several years, which includes the limited series airing on Disney Plus, the question obviously a lot of folks would probably have, or a lot of fans would have, is what will the next Avengers film be that results out of all this? Now, Feige didn't come out and say we were going to get an Avengers film just yet, but we all know that's potentially going to be announced in the next year or two. But the question obviously a lot of people have, like I said, is what will it be about? What will it center around? Well, my opinion is I think it's going to center around the House of M storyline that was published in 2005, which ironically had Scarlet Witch, Wanda, as the main focus. Now, the reason I bring this up is because of what Kevin Feige said. Now, he said on, and it was pretty much reported on anyway before this, that WandaVision will tie in to Spider-Man 3, the next Spider-Man film, which is going to release at the end of next year, and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which comes out a few months later. It's going to tie into those in some major way. Due to the fact that Wanda, in WandaVision, is trying to recreate reality in her image. Basically a reality that suits her, best and gives her that happy ending she's looking for, that peace. Not having to deal with any crap anymore kind of deal. Now, the question is, though, what about the other Disney Plus series that are coming out next year as well as some of the movies? How will they tie in? That is a good question. Obviously, Loki is going to tie into the new Thor movie as well as possibly Black Widow, while Falcon and Winter Soldier could potentially tie into Black Widow as well. The other thing as well is we got Hawkeye, which could play a role into that as well. So you're looking at other shows that could tie into other movies as well. Like I said, Loki ties into Black Widow and the new Thor movie. Falcon and Winter Soldier could probably tie into the next Black Widow film. And Hawkeye also could probably tie into that as well. But besides that, the question is, though, how does this all result into House of M? Well, if there's one thing that Kevin Feige has taught us about the MCU films, and even possibly it's going to be the same with these series, is always expect the unexpected, especially at the end. During either the final scene or a post-credit or mid-credit scene, always expect the unexpected. Always expect a cliffhanger, a catch, a surprise that's going to make you want to come back and watch whatever that surprise is connected to down the line, whether it's theatrical or through Disney Plus. So my opinion is at the end of Shang-Chi's movie and the end of Black Widow and potentially at the end of some of these Disney Plus series, we're going to have a connection that's made that's going to connect them all into the next Avengers film, which is going to be based on House of M. Now, we could also probably throw in Fantastic Four as well, because I think they played an integral part in House of M as, just as much as, let's say, Doctor Strange and Wanda do. So there's that potential, and there is the speculation of the year of when that movie will be released, which potentially could be 2023 or 2024. Now, the reason I say that is the latest I could see the new Avengers, I should say, movie coming out would be 2025, which is why Kevin Feige is making all these announcements now, but has yet to make the announcement of a new Avengers film, because that's probably not going to be released until the middle of the decade. And that's going to be after everything is come into play. Basically, come together in a way that's going to help it all connect to make that Avengers film based on House of M a reality. Now, for those of you that have read House of M, you know what it's about. For those of you that have heard what Linkara and other comic book expertise have had to say about it, you know what it's about out as well. And if you don't, I'll give you the gist. Scarlet Witch, Wanda, just like we see in WandaVision and potentially later on in Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man and all that, is having a nervous breakdown. She's trying to recreate reality, as I mentioned earlier, to her liking, so that she could finally live in peace, have a family, and stuff like that. So obviously that looks like the direction they are heading in. And I will not be surprised that in the next few years we get the announcement that the new Avengers movie is going to be, that the title of the new Avengers movie will be Avengers House of M. Now, I could be wrong, but all the signs, in my opinion, are leading in that direction. Now, you might say, well, Brian, that's not entirely true. I mean, how could they all, lead in that direction? Again, like I said, even though Loki looks like it's going to tie into Black Widow and Thor: Love and Thunder, even though Falcon and Winter Soldier could tie into one of those films, mostly Black Widow. The same with Hawkeye. The fact of the matter is this: and even Shang-Chi, I should say, and all that. The fact of the matter is this: we always have that surprise at the end. We always have some kind of, unexpected moment or appearance or debut that we don't see coming. And that usually gets us invested to want to know what happens next, in the MCU. And that's why I think all those films and shows that are coming out within the next several years, 2021 and forward, are going to be connecting. And by connecting, they will result in a House of M Avengers movie. Now, again, I could be wrong, and perhaps I am, but all the dots are connecting very seamlessly. And I think Kevin Feige knows that. But again, he's doing the smart thing. He's not coming out and saying right off the bat, oh, in 2025, we're going to have Avengers House of M. He's not doing that. He's saving that to a certain time. He's saving that to the point that fans that view these shows on Disney Plus go and see these movies in the theaters. He's waiting till they themselves kind of start connecting the dots and realizing, oh, I think I know what we're heading to. I think we know what we're, heading to with the Avengers film. And when you think about the potential time frame for it, middle of the decade, it would be 20 years since that story debuted from a publishing comic book perspective. So for the Avengers movie to end Phase 4, I think we're going to get a House of M adaptation. But what about Phase 5? Because the way Kevin Feige made it sound is he has things planned out for Phase 4 and 5. But what would be the Avengers movie of Phase 5? Phase 5, I think, could be more of an intergalactic Avengers movie. More like it ties mostly into space or focuses on space and other galaxies than it does just Earth. And in my opinion, I think what that's going to be is Secret Wars. I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be Secret Wars. And I might be wrong, but everything, just like with Phase 4, everything for Phase 5 seems to be lining up towards that. You have Eternals coming. Whether they tie into Phase 4 or Phase 5, we'll see. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is in space, just like Eternals. You have the show with, Nick Fury on Disney Plus, Secret Invasion. You have the She-Hulk series. You have Captain Marvel 2. You have Fantastic Four potentially, tying into it. You have all the factors working themselves together that, in my opinion, is going to build to a Phase 5 Avengers Secret War film. And the reason I say that too, again, going back to Loki and Thor: Love and Thunder, which it will connect with, I don't think there's no hiding it. But again, just like I said about, Kevin Feige not coming out right off the bat and saying, oh, in 2025, you're going to get Avengers House of M. He's not going to come out and say, at the end of the decade, in 2030, you're going to get Avengers Secret Wars. He's not going to come out and say that right off the bat. But everything that's going to be happening, through the later portion of Phase 4, but mostly Phase 5, in my opinion, is going to build up to that Phase 5 Avengers Secret War film, including Black Panther 2. The way he described of how they're going to go forward with it, because of the unfortunate passing of Chadwick, I think leads itself to potentially being part of that Phase 5 Avengers film at the end. So in my opinion, because you got Eternals coming, you have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, you got Thor: Love and Thunder, you got Secret Invasion, you got She-Hulk, you got Miss Marvel, you got Captain Marvel 2, and in a sense maybe Fantastic Four, or and even Loki, if you will, I've got a feeling there's going to be some tie-ins together that's going to build to a Secret Wars film. And let's not forget, contractually, they could still utilize Spider-Man for a few more appearances outside of Sony's world. So there's the potential Spider-Man could be part of that as well. Now, there is talk to do a Young Avengers, and maybe that might be the Phase 5 Avengers team for Secret Wars. We don't know. But in my opinion, Phase 5's Avengers films that's going to close out that phase will be Secret Wars. So, to end this video, to basically, backtrack a little bit, to kind of make it clearer, because I know I sound like I rambled. I'm going without a script off the top of my head, like I usually do. But to basically clarify, the way I look at it is like this. The Avengers film at the end of Phase 4 will be based on House of M. And because of everything that's connecting, building up to that. And for Phase 5, I think everything that's intergalactic-wise, from Eternals, Captain Marvel 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, potentially, Fantastic Four, potentially Thor, Love and Thunder, Loki, maybe She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel. I think it's all going to tie us into a Phase 5 Avengers Secret War film. So, to clarify again and make it clear, because again, I know I sound like I ramble, so I do apologize. We are going to get, in my opinion, at the end of Phase 4, Avengers-wise, Avengers House of M, and at the end of Phase 5, we're going to get Avengers Secret Wars. That's my opinion. Because by then as well, they should have the X-Men well insaturated and ready to go, so they could also play a role as well. So again, my opinion, end of Phase 4, Avengers House of M. End of Phase 5, Avengers Secret Wars. But let me know what you guys think. What are your thoughts on my speculation of what kind of Avengers film we will get? Do you think I'm correct? Do you think the dots on each side of the phase, or for each potential phases, line up correctly? Or do you think they might go in a different direction? Let me know down below. Comment if you like. But honestly, I think at least for the end of Phase 4, we will get a House of M adaptation. That's just, it's too obvious in my opinion. It's just too obvious. But let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. I'd like to hear what each and every one of you have to say on it. And I am out.